next session, Dr. Sanjay K. Manjul, Additional Director General, Archaeological Survey of India, will make a presentation on material culture of the South, what archaeology reveals.
Very good evening. Today I feel really privileged to talk before the August gathering. And before my lecture, you've gone in medieval period. Now, task given to me to talk about the archaeological material from the South particularly. Let's confess, I have not worked very well in the South, but last 4 years, after declaration of iconic site of Adichanallur, I indulge into the archaeology of South India. Whatever I am presenting today or I am talking today, it's not my own work, but it's a work of my colleagues with the posted here, either in the Chennai circle or in Thrissur circle or so all those work done by my colleagues. I'm just monitoring that work because I have given the charge of iconic site, development of iconic site. One of the site is Adichanallur. So it's a very clear before talking about the findings. And I have chosen 3-4 sites only, which is recent excavation by the Chennai Circle and Adichanallur, because there is a lot of talk in particularly in the website or in the WhatsApp university about the Keeladi and other site, the relation with Harappans, relation with lot of different opinions are going on either in the WhatsApp or many things. So just try to see what are the findings all around the Tamil Nadu, particularly right from the Paleolithic period to nowadays. And this is one of the site that recently excavated by Dr. Kali Muthu from Chennai Circle, essay here. So they have given me a lot of slides to show. This is one of the site, the Vadakkupattu. They have done excavation there. And if you see the excavation, it's a very recent 2 years back started the excavation, and a lot of findings found there right from the Paleolithic age or middle Paleolithic age to the historical period. So that's a very, very interesting. Yes, there is a lot of site already known in that area right from the early 18th century AD by the Britishers, by discovering a lot of Paleolithic sites dated back to 1.5 millennium years, almost 60,000 year old, and that changed the entire archaeological perspective of Indian subcontinent for understanding of the prehistoric archaeology. But if you see the archaeology in other regions like Indus-Saraswati civilization, or in here in the southern India, there is a lot of rivers or near the river settlement arts there. The most of the excavation actually indicated that Iron Age culture, or we can call black and red ware culture, or the grave culture, like that. But the very few habitational sites excavated in this region to understand the settlement pattern or the cultural component of that area particularly. Burial system, there is lot of work have been done in the South Indian sites, either in the Kerala, Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or many of the places. The burial site, particularly stone crane burial or the pot burial, sarcophagi, etc., etc. And the finding along with that, like the iron implements, iron weapons, etc. in the grave, there is lot of things has already been published, but very few habitational site excavated yet to understand the relation between the burial system prevailing here is in this region and also the cultural component. This site is which I am talking, it's not far from the Chennai. It's very close to around 50 kilometer odd in that area. In exploration, there is a lot of Paleolithic tools recovered there, along with the pottery remains like black and red ware, the russet coated ware, the and other style of pottery, kaolin ware, and there is so on. There is a lot of pottery along with the antiquities also, and some of the sculptural remains and temple remains also recovered in the exploration itself. So then decided to go to the excavation to understand the cultural continuity of particularly the early phase, or here in the Chalcolithic phase, or the iron to continue up to the historical period or late medieval period also. So because there is lot of variety of pottery got there in the exploration, so it's a lot of questions arises how to understand the continuity. So that is the reason this excavation conducted by our colleague. So this is the location of the site. You can see the aerial view of the site, and the square in both the site. You can see the trenches taken to understand the cultural deposit of that area. I know it's a little too jargon of archaeological term, but you may understand very well the cultural process of evolving the culture. The lowest one is the earliest, and then top one is the latest. So that's why we are taking the excavation to understand the cultural continuity or cultural sequence of the site. So this is the two place where excavation conducted by them. Already you can see right from the early 19th century there is a lot of site explored and also protected by Archaeological Survey of India, some of the site for the future excavation or for the future research. Some of the site, yes, we have taken excavation, but lot of site is already still there for the further excavation and further because this is the policy of excavation to do the little bit of excavation and almost 40% excavation area has to be left for the future understanding, because a lot of technology is changing time to time to be revised, particularly that finding. I have already spoken about the variety of pottery. See the locality of for the excavation of aerial view. See the type of artifacts got there in excavation. If you see the variety of the turn Levalloisian or the flake tool, or that's depend on the typology and discovery by the people in many, either in the Europe or other places. The first typological term which has already been established, you can see the similarity of that the type. So we got here the variety of tool of a stone tool that clearly indicate that prehistoric man settled here, or taking shelters, or doing a lot of things here. It's in this area. Yeah, you can see the previous another variety of hammer tools, etc., and then Middle Paleolithic tools also found in this excavation. And then if we talk about the ceramic culture, why ceramic culture is important to understand? Because normally in any of the habitational site or any of the archaeological finding, particularly in the early history, right from the Chalcolithic period to the historical period, the pottery is left behind there. The typology of the pottery is very, very important, and that has already been fixed in the excavation. The lower one having the one kind of pottery, and then subsequently the upper one having the another type of pottery, and all those layers have been dated. That, and according to that we are doing the relative dating sometime. As today I in the just after lunch I visited the museum just close to here, and I have seen the lot of pottery there in from early excavation at Pondicherry itself. And I thought that the similar pottery now dated back to 1000 BC also. So that date has to be revised by the modern technique, or the excavation have to be reconducted by at least in a smaller area to make a proper dating with the latest technology. So that may be date revised back to 500 BC to 1000 BC, or even earlier than that. And there is lot of pottery here which is not the local origin, like the Roman pottery is also there, the local imitation pottery is also there, and some of the kaolin ware, or some of the glassware, or so there is variety itself very clearly indicate that this place having lot of connection with other places. So this area is really very important to understand the cultural continuity, as well as the relation between the other culture from other part of world, not only the India, but other part of world also. So this is very, very important to reassess the earlier remains, as well as with the modern finding like in Keeladi and other places. See the variety of pottery found from the excavation. The brown slave, black red ware. So these are the actually terminology and variety of the pottery having different kind of use, either in the same period or in the subsequent period. The conical pottery, like Roman amphora having the conical one in the bottom. So this type of pottery also found there. See the golden slip potsherds in the left side having some of the pot like a golden slip at the top. These are the some of the perforated one. The similar pottery you can see at Pondicherry also. The same type of pottery you can see in the this place also. The same found in many places in Tamil Nadu region, and having the graffiti marks which is very close to the Harappan script. So we don't know the actual connection in between Harappans with this region, because there is lot of time gap in between Harappan culture or Indus Saraswati culture with the here we are talking about the place like Keeladi, Adichanallur, Agram, or many of the sites. See the type of antiquity got here. More than 1,000 antiquity recovered from the site, right from the gold object to semi-precious stone, as well as the glass, early glass beads, etc. See the variety of copper object also, the variety of beads, the color beads also you can see here the variety of antiquity. See the gold and copper object or copper coins also recovered from the site. See, this is the period. The early period we got the middle Paleolithic tools we have already shown in that, and then a sterile layer. So there is no cultural continuity from right from the Paleolithic culture to a historical period or early historical period. So there is a sterile layer, there is desertion at the site, and then restarted in the early historic period. And also the early medieval or medieval period, we have the continuity of the culture sequence. Now come to the another important site of Adichanallur. This is very famous site, and there is 3 times excavation has already been done, right from the Alexander area, and after that Archaeological Survey of India done excavation, and then recent excavation to develop the iconic site of India, the 5 iconic site declared by the government of India in budget announcement. One of the site is Adichanallur to develop it. So for development of this site, I actually indulge in South Indian archaeology. So now I understand the whole scenario of South Indian archaeology. Obviously, it's a new domain for me after working in a lot of site in Indus Saraswati civilization and then Sanoli excavation and so on. After that, I'm indulged into the South Indian archaeology. This is the site. You can see at the top the huge site having a lot of the burial deposit at the site. This is the location of the site of Adichanallur, just close to river Tambaparni. And these are the area, 3 area we have chosen for the excavation, divided into 3 locations particularly, and all these 3 locations, some of the location has already been excavated earlier also, and some new location also chosen to understand the development of the site. Not only that, for better understanding, we have decided to conduct some of the excavation of habitational site also, to make a relation between the burial site like Adichanallur is a huge site, and also the settlement all around. So extensive exploration have been done by our colleagues here in this area, and identified a lot of site of habitational area, and some of the site we have taken for excavation to correlate the date of the burial and the style of the burial and changings of belief system at this particular last ritual. So see the map, the explored site as well as the excavated site plotted in this map all around the river area. And state archaeology department also taken some of the excavation at that area where my students are working there. 4-5 students trained by me working all around that area. I have visited the site. Some of the habitational site, you can see the mud brick very clearly visible in the section, one of the section. Actually, the illegal digging or going on at the site, because that site is not protected. It's a unprotected area, and there is modern habitation at the top of the mound. So some of the digging are going on. So one can see in the section itself structural remains at that. So this is a photogrammetry map to understand the contour of the site, the topography of the site, and also the concentration area, etc. So what we are doing the aerial photography and also photogrammetry, 3D modeling of the site to understand better understanding of the pattern of either in the burial or in the settlement, etc. So this is one of the example for that. So these 3 locality you can see in the aerial view, excavation conducted by my colleagues. So these are the finding. You can see the several burial pots. You can see urn burial is there in the site in different layers. So there is a range of last rituals you can see here, right from around 1100 BCE to first or second CE. So there is huge continuity of the burial practice at the site. So nearby habitation site is very, very important. See the kind of burial. You can see the top of the pot. There is a crane packing or a stone packing at the top. So after putting the human remains inside of the pot, they offer all around, and also the closing at the top with the stone, locally available stone at the mound itself. So see the pit like that. It's a rounded, sometime most of the time is a rounded pit having a lot of offering inside. The bigger one for the human remains, and then a smaller one for the offering of grains and other food material, etc. inside of that. So there is a variety of pots. Along with the weapons, sometimes the iron weapons, and also the earlier one is having the copper object also and gold object also. So see some of the burial having the copper object and also the iron sword inside of that. See the copper object in one of the hand. This is the gold foil. Particularly maybe for the diadem or something there in the gold also. So we all know the copper is not available here. So they bought from copper or copper object from any other place. So that very clearly shows the contact with the other land or other regions to brought some of the material here. So each and every material gives a lot of idea to have the contact from which region, either in the sea route or in the land route or in the river route. So there is all 3 routes are important. So tracing those routes for amalgamation or understanding of cultural amalgamation or the cultural artifacts or the trade. It's very important to see each and every elements is very, very important. See one of the sword you can see in that and other material also in this. This is a 4 meter deep trench. Just deeper in 4 meter, we got this type of material in early level. See the comparative. In Vidarbha region, the similar kind of copper object found in Vidarbha region also, and then almost the similar type of pot found here also in excavation. And earlier, as Alexander Ria also done excavation here, and that material is in Chennai Museum, Egmore Museum at present. That is also having the variety of copper object, the similar type object, which is not locally available or locally made by the artisans. See the variety of offering pot as well as the bigger pot for the urn burial. See the iron object and the spear and the millet in the pot, you can see very clearly. And these are the dates, scientific dates from the site. You can see the earliest date around 1200 BCE. So that's the earlier date got in this excavation. Earlier it's known around 600 to 800 BCE, not earlier than that. So now we got the date around 1200 BCE. And see the skeletal remains inside of one of the pot. So see the copper object. And another habitational site, Agram, is very close by. You can see the structure remains there, how they are living at that area. And now this is the view of the development as a iconic site. So this is the glass covering of excavated remains. You can see at the site itself the excavated remains by your own eye. And also the planning of nearby around 2 kilometers away from the site, we are going to develop a huge museum there. So that is the model design proposed for the museum, and the work started to make a huge museum there to showcase the Adichanallur material as well as the other excavation or excavated material around that area for holistic understanding of this region actually. This shed has already been provided there, and also the casing for some of the in situ, to see the in situ material at the site itself. Now just 2-3 slides I am trying to show the Keeladi excavation. This is the top view of the excavation. So there is 2 phases of excavation. One started from our colleague Amarnath, Dr. Amarnath, and later on state archaeology started continue excavation at the site, and not only the habitational site as well as one habitational site, one of the burial site also excavated in nearby area. So see the structural remains there at the site, and this site is dated back to 600 BCE to historical late historical period. So earliest deposit, and you can see the variety of the beads. There is lot of variety of the beads and other materials found in the excavation, shows the very rich culture at the site, at least in early 3rd, 4th century BCE, having the graffiti marks on the potsherds, and also that shows the trade linkage also, because if you put some of the sign at the pot itself, that shows the trading some object to make some mark on that. So that a very interesting understanding that how much of graffiti mark you got in one site, and then another site in that region or other region having similar kind of graffiti marks, that maybe the exchange of the material through in the pot or something. So that's also a very interesting So these are the graffiti marks you can see found from here itself and these marks is very close to the Harappan sign. So that is the reason there is a lot of debate that whether the similar kind of deposit are there of Harappans or not. So these are the some evidence, but the Kodumanal and other site also we got the similar kind of graffiti. So a lot of work have been done by the epigraphist and other scholar also to relate the Tamil Brahmi into the Harappan script for deciphering the Harappan script. See the maps. Maps having very clear understanding the distribution of site, either in the prehistoric area which has been explored or some of the site excavated. You can see the river system and the topography of the land, and which topography having the prehistoric settlement or prehistoric mans living there, and how that shifted into the seaport area or sea area. So you can see the concentration of the site of prehistoric and then protohistoric site. Protohistoric around 2000 to the Iron Age period, you can see the protohistoric. So see the development of that site through. And then now concentration of Iron Age culture, the concentration is just in this site having lot of concentration. And then early historic settlement. You can see the entire sea coast occupied by the early historic people to have the aggressive trade. So this entire map shows the development of understanding of the people, how they living right from the prehistoric period to the early historic period and modern cities. So these are the reason, if you see the entire reason what we have date in many of the site having the earliest calibrated date is around 2100 BCE around. The earliest date is there in some of the site, and yes, the Adichanallur, the latest around 1400 BCE, but one or two dates are there in the early, but the major date around 1200 BCE. Yes, these are the excavator involved in this excavation. I think thank you very much.
So considering the fact that in the north of India you have these very mighty rivers that have given a certain type of township and water management system that we are very well known for. In the peninsular India, you do not have perennial mighty flowing rivers. So what is the main difference do you see in cities of South India as opposed to the excavated sites where you had perennial rivers? Does this lack of perennial water in abundance affect the habitation?
It's a very, very critical question to understand the landscape and topography of the region. If you see the early settlers or early prehistoric man, they are living, plenty of the site is reported here because the rivulet and shorter nalas and all of that. But the lack of perennial river, like the bigger river like Ganga, Yamuna or earlier Saraswati, etc. Normally what happened? In the early settlers, they are chosen the place where the safely they create the habitation. After the Neolithic phase, then early farming started. Then they come to not in the perennial river in aggressively, but the tributaries, because that's the safer point, because the bigger river having lot of flood zone, so it's very difficult to exploit the river itself. But the larger scale in early historical period, or the Chalcolithic people, they occupied the particular perennial river sometime, but most of the Harappan site also having had settled around not only perennial river but the tributaries also. In case of Saraswati, Saraswati is actually drying around 3000 or even earlier than that, and having only the seasonal river. So stress management is very, very important. So without the stress management, the culture cannot be grow. So that is the reason, maybe in this region particularly, yes, agriculture land is available, so settlement is little smaller than that area. And also the river route, for connection of river route, because the exploitation of the turbulence, this sea is very, very difficult. So that is the reason in a particular coastal area, if you see the map, different map, my map, then you understand the early historical people are in early historic phase, they come closer to the sea. So yes, the landscape is very important for development of culture and all that. But yes, another thing we have to understand in archaeology, so we are doing archaeology of pottery normally, which taught by the earlier colonial expert and all that, to have the understanding of pottery. But you can, it's difficult to get the pottery in every region, because every region having its own character, own resources. So there is no need to have the pottery in early phase also. So without the pottery phase is also very important. So sometimes we miss that anthropogenic deposit to understand whether there is any settlement there or not. So that may change the scenario of understanding of the cultural development of every region. Like in northeast region, you cannot get the pottery even in the early historic period sometime. So they are using the local resources like bamboo and other thing for doing, because that depend on the food habit, your food habit. So only one staple food is necessary, and then another the fish and rice. So why they make the pottery? So these are the environmental factor, and landscape is very, very important to understand the development of culture. Thank you.
Okay, I wanted to ask, you showed us that copper artifact which is similar in Vidarbha and Adichanallur. Are they the same timeline, different timelines? What's the timeline?
Yeah, almost in the same timeline. Here is little late, on Vidarbha region is little early.
So I have a question, sir. Is
Sure.
it on? I have a question, sir. If you go around Pondicherry, you would have seen there plenty of pillars. For example, you have this Gandhi statue, which is surrounded by really tall pillars. And opposite to the Lieutenant Governor's residence also, there are a lot of scattered ruins of pieces of temples, pillars, etc., which are exquisite in nature. Even behind, there is a French institute, which is also again scattered with so many ruins and leftovers from temples. But they are all lying in a very dilapidated way. Nobody is taking care of them, and I am not sure whether your department is also involved in taking care of them or their maintenance. And many of them are being vandalized also. So what can be done? And for example, these pillars which are there near the Gandhi statue, where exactly are they from? So some information, if it is there on a plaque or something like that, it will be very useful. So since you are in such a senior position in ASI, it will be great if you could do something about these.
Right. Actually, sometimes it's a very difficult by the single agency, either in the central government or is the state government, but it's a matter of local involvement of the people to save their heritage at least. The Archaeological Survey of India are normally responsible for centrally protected monument and their protection, but yes, we are supposed to support the state government also. So there is a state department here, a state archaeology or a state culture department also responsible for protecting those things. And whenever the state is requesting us also to give the technical expertise and all that, we are always giving in many of the places to how to do. So it's a really a good thing you have raised this thing in this forum, that the local people should take a lead for to understand and to protect that. So it's a very important that in this area you got the temple and all that, because it's very close to seashore. So this a really trade route for that time, having some landmark to create some landmark or creating some temple, some other landmark also. So it's a good that the public involvement is very, very important to protect.
Dr. Manjul, two very quick questions. Number one, given that you said that you've got remains like millets, etc., at Keeladi, does that mean that it becomes easier to do carbon dating? Because I have read somewhere that these, these food remains, etc., were not very common in many other Harappan sites, earlier antiquity sites. And number two, when you talked about what you saw in Pondicherry Museum, does that mean that we really need a further dig at Arikamedu, because it could be much older than 1st century CE?
Of course, of course. Yes, we got Harappan site also. There is a lot of charred grains to understand the food habits, and now we are doing the lipid analysis also to understand how they are cooking and they are using the other oil and the meat or what are the food. So we have done so much of work in Harappan era to understand the food habit and crop etc., whether it's a single crop system or double crop system, or there is development of and also the change of the climatic condition and the precipitations of the rainfall, etc. That all related to the crop and the food habit, and then settlement, and also the making of pottery, because whatever you want, according to that you make a pottery. And so that is the, if you have the variety of pottery, then you understand that culture is very complex. Because the industrial people need the different thing, the elite people needs a different kind of pottery, and that ritualistic pottery is entirely different. If you have the very few pottery, it means having the settlement is very conservative, or a small settlement or village settlement having the limited use of that. So everything having link with that. Like we got here some of the charred grains also, and some of the grains which is inside, and some of the things we have already dated, because particularly charred grains is very easy to dates because that is a carbonized material. But other thing, now we have a lot of dating methods of bones, pottery, even the anthropogenic soil we are dating by the OSL dating. So now we have a lot of technique for the dating, and very precise dating in AMS date. In earlier the carbon dating having 100 or 200 plus minus, but now we have 30 or 35 years plus minus. So now it's a very precise dates we are getting scientifically.
Excuse me. Yes, last question. So this is regarding places of worship which has got huge archaeological significance. See, in and around Pondicherry there are 5 sites, temples which are directly under ASI. And there is one huge temple in Villanur, which is said to be around more than 1,000 years old. Okay, so some 10 years back, I visited your office in Chennai, okay, to request that they take care of that temple. But unfortunately, in the name of renovation, they've completely dismantled the old tank. It was a huge tank. It came in the Life of Pi movie also, okay, which is an Oscar award-winning movie. So I just want to know what determines. What determines what factors you take into consideration while deciding to take over a temple for direct administration by ASI?
Actually, there is a law, 1958 Act, and there is another law also. So we are following the law and the process to take over the temple. If you have any request by the locals also sometime to get into the centrally protected monument, declare centrally protected, because in the Act having lot of provisions to and restrictions also. So it's depend on the state that if they are requesting to take over this temple, we are really thinking that if that has the central importance or the importance, then we took over that temple. So if that has the state like importance, then state archaeology should take the initiative to take over or declare as a state protected monument. It's depend that whether that temple having that much of potential or historicity or the artistic component, aesthetic components, historic components, and some of the legends on that, and also the willingness of the locals and a state government. Thank you very much.